What is up, guys? Ham Productions here, back with another video. Today we're going to be doing a tier list, more specifically, an NFL draft grade tier list. Pretty much, grading teams' drafts from S tier all the way to F tier, and I'm just going to be honest, there's the only F tier team, it's the Falcons. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this video. If you do, make sure to hit the like, subscribe button, and yeah, let's get started. The first draft we're going to grade is the Arizona Cardinals, and in my opinion, this is an A tier draft. This is like an A minus. Obviously things could have been better. Overall, I think they just picked, some of the best players on the board. Obviously they had a lot of, third round picks. They actually had four third round picks, and I thought every single one was pretty decent. They had two firsts with Marvin Harrison and Darius Robinson, and then they got Max Melton in the second. So overall, I would give this draft an A for them. They needed a lot of improvements, just to take them over the top because I feel like last year they were really underrated. And to get Marvin Harrison Jr., to get Darius Robinson, in my opinion, is a huge win. So yeah, that's an A draft. Next up, we got the Atlanta Falcons, and this is going to be like what the D tier is. This is definition of the worst. I didn't think any team had a horrible draft like F tier, but this was really close. They got Michael Penix Jr. with the eighth pick, horrible pick in my opinion. They got Rook Oro. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. Again, Jersey Newton's right there. And all the other picks were whatever, you know what I mean? Third, fourth, or 5 round picks. They're gonna be good, but the first two picks are the most important by far, and they just didn't do that well. So yeah. Yeah, it just wasn't impressive at all. And all the memes about their general manager of him trying to explain to the owner, why they picked is just hilarious, honestly. And I love Michael Penix too. I just don't think it was smart to pick him, that early. And when you just paid Kirk Cousins, $180 million, it just seemed a little bit, dumb. Next up, we got the Baltimore Ravens. And, I'm going to give this is a definition of a B. I like Cooper DeJean more than Nate Wiggins, and I thought, other than that, the entire draft was, decent. Nothing crazy. It was a decent draft. Nothing special, but nothing horrible. Next up, we have the Buffalo Bills, and obviously they traded back, I should say, twice. And overall, I'm also gonna give this a B. I love Keon Coleman. Obviously, the interviews and stuff, and all the clips of going around on social media are hilarious. You know, but yeah, I think he's gonna be awesome. I like the Cole Bishop pick. I like Dwayne Carter. All I wish out of this draft, if is that we got another wide receiver. If we could have traded up in the fourth round, since we had four fifth round picks to get like someone like Troy Franklin, or get like Malik Washington, Tez Walker, someone like that. And even though I think this draft we were going for more leadership, I felt like we could have addressed more positions. Now I got the Carolina Panthers, and trading up to the first round was, I think, smart to get Leggett, but I feel like Jonathan Brooks was a bit of a reach, and I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be good. I think Jatavion Sanders is going to be good. But overall, this draft wasn't anything crazy. They only had 7 picks. So I would just have to give it, like a C. It's not bad, but it's not anything crazy either. So it's worse than the Bills draft, in my opinion, but it's definitely better than the Falcons. Next up, we have the Chicago Bears. And in my opinion, this is an S tier draft. Really just an S tier offseason for the Bears, honestly, in my opinion. They got Caleb Williams, who I believe, is going to be a good quarterback. They got Rome Odunze, who, I wanted the Bills maybe to trade up for. He's going to be an absolute beast. Him, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. I think you already have the best wide receiver room in the NFL. Then they had a third, they got Kieran. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. Offensive tackle out of Yale. They got a punter. They got an edge rusher. Whatever. Again, but those first two picks are just, awesome. And, I think that, Duo is going to have some chemistry already, going into their first year. Now look at the Cincinnati Bengals. And I feel like they did a really good job with this draft. I'm also going to give them an A. They need to protect Joe Burrow. I've called Joe Burrow Glass Joe in the past, but it's the truth. He gets injured way too much. And for them to take Amarius Mims is really smart, in my opinion. I like the defensive tackle pick for losing, what's his name? DJ Reader, I'm pretty sure left. And then taking Jermaine Burton as a third round pick, I think you might as well take a shot on them. Worst case scenario, T. Higgins gets traded next season. You'll just take a wide receiver first round next year. So yeah, overall solid draft by Cincinnati. Then we have the Cleveland Browns, and they didn't have a first round pick. They took Michael Hall Jr. They took Zach Zinter, Jamari Thrash, Nathaniel Watson. So even though they didn't get a first round pick, I thought they did decent. But it's nothing better than C tier in my opinion. It's not anything special. But I like to pick. I like taking a guy from Ohio, Michael Hall Jr. Other than that, nothing, too crazy special, I would say. Next up, we have the Dallas Cowboys. And I love the Tyler Guyton pick. I like the Marshawn Elam pick. I like Cooper Beebe. I honestly like their draft. I think this is going to go into a B tier. It's right around. Right along the same lines as pretty much the Baltimore. I'm going to move them ahead actually, of the Bills just because I like their draft a little bit. It's not necessarily telling, but I just like their draft a little bit more than the Bills. I like the trading back. I wish they could have addressed a running back position though. Obviously they signed Zeke yesterday, I should say. But, does it really solve it? Not really. I thought they were gonna go after, maybe like a Blake Corum, Jonathan Brooks or someone like that. But they didn't end up doing it. So yeah. Overall solid draft though. Next up we have the Denver Broncos. And honestly, for what it's worth, this draft is like it's not as bad as the Falcons though. But it's not amazing either. Actually, I'm just gonna add a new tier. I'm just gonna add, a completely new tier. We're just gonna add row below, and this just tier is gonna be called F. Or here, let's just go out of this. Oh, let me replace that really quickly. Call this the D tier, obviously. And we'll call this new tier F for Falcons. There we go. That fixes a lot of things right there. Broncos, they took Bo Nix. In my opinion, a massive reach. Should have just traded down, in my opinion. Then they take Jonah Ellis. They got Trey Franklin. Again, I like that pick. Pairing him up, obviously, with the quarterback that he played with. But overall, this draft is just all right. It's nothing special. Again, what are you gonna do with they didn't have a second round pick. We weren't able to get Michael Penix or really an elite quarterback like JJ McCarthy. And they didn't really they didn't pick that well, honestly. Like I like the Troy Franklin trade up. Other than that, it's whatever. D tier. Next up we got the Detroit Lions. And I'm gonna rate this a B. A lot of people, are really hyped about this draft because yeah, they address tons of positions, but you know, what about getting another wide receiver possibly? What about maybe getting like another edge rusher to pair with Aiden Hutchinson? Taking back-to-back cornerbacks I think was the right move, but you're getting Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw. I just feel like that's a little too much in my opinion. Other than that, I like the picks though. I like Makai Wingo in the 6th round. I think that's going to be a steal. So yeah, Detroit. It was decent, but I feel like you guys should have addressed a different pick. With your 2nd round. I think you just should have addressed a different position. I should say. Next up, we get the Green Bay Packers. And overall, I would give this like an A tier. I like the Edgerrin Cooper pick. I like Javon Bullard, I should say. I like Marshawn Lloyd. And I thought they drafted well. And some people didn't like the Jordan Morgan pick. But again, you're not always gonna, take the best guy available. People gotta understand it's not about taking the best guy available. It's take the guy that they want, the guy that just wants to be there. I feel like Jordan Morgan could work out really well. And so I'm going to give it an A. And again, I just think, how many picks they had in the top 100. I just think they nailed it. They had two third round picks, 2 second round picks, and obviously the 1st round pick of Jordan Morgan. So yeah, not horrible. Next up, we have the Houston Texans. And overall, I would give this like a C. Nothing too special. This is not just me being salty because we traded Stephon Diggs to them, but I really don't think this draft is, going to take them over the top. Like, I think they're, going to be, contenders for whatever the 2-3 seed. But like a lot of people are acting like they're gonna immediately be Super Bowl contenders. Let's calm it down a bit. They didn't draft that well, all right. They got Kamari Lassiter, they got Blake Fisher, they got Caden Bullock, and then after that it was whatever, just probably depth guys, I guess. Kate Stover's not gonna play that much. Um, Kamari Lassiter probably play a little bit. Blake Fisher probably, Caden Bullock probably as well. But people need to stop hyping up the Texans because again, it's only April. It's about to be May actually tomorrow. But still, people need to just calm down the Vikings hype train. You got it, 2nd-year quarterback, with tons of weapons, tons of pressure. They did no pressure last year. Now people are already calling them, AFC champions. Cool down a bit, all right? As a Bills fan, who, the team has been hyped up numerous times in the past few years, just calm it down a bit. You can't put that much pressure on, a team. Next up, you got the Indianapolis Colts. And, overall, I'd give this like a B. It's not anything crazy. I know a lot of people like the Donnie Mitchell pick, getting the steal. I think it was cool how, the GM defended him. But I think that Donnie Mitchell's a little bit overrated. He's got a lot of Gabe Davis-esque games. If you know about Gabe Davis games, you'll understand exactly what I mean. And Latu's got a lot of injuries. He literally retired from football, then came back, then did pretty well, but the injury concerns are there. So overall, I'd give this, probably it's all right. It's not anything crazy, and I felt like they could have, maybe addressed the tight end position also. But overall, whatever. It was decent. Next up, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they got Brian Thomas Jr. They got Mason Smith. They got Jarian Jones. They got Javon Foster. So overall, I'd give this draft like an A. I think Brian Thomas Jr. will be really good, and the fact that they got to trade back and get Brian Thomas Jr. In my opinion, that's just a huge win. I think that's just exactly what they needed to do. Next up, we got the Kansas City Chiefs. I got a lot of comments about this. People saying the Buffalo Bills handed the Chiefs, like, oh, we handed the Chiefs Xavier Worthy. People need to calm down on this dude. Wasn't it like a few weeks ago when everyone was calling this dude the next John Ross? All of a sudden, when the Chiefs get him, oh, he's the next Tyreek Hill. Oh, he's the next this. Oh, Bills just giving the Chiefs another three-peat. Let's calm it down on this dude. He's 5'11", 165 pounds. And I understand he's fast. But, like, I just don't think that's such a good pick. And the fact that people are like, oh, the Chiefs fleeced the Bills, the Chiefs did this. In my opinion, it's just a bad take. And do I think Worthy to do well? Maybe. But people need to stop acting like this is an amazing draft for them. It's getting a C. Nothing too special. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Chargers, and overall, I would give this like a, I would give this like a C. I like the Joe Alt pick, but I think Ladd McConkey's gonna have tons of injuries. A lot of people, hyping up Ladd McConkey. If you want to get a good player, you got to look at everything. You got to look at personality. You got to look at injuries. Ladd McConkey constantly get injured. He's like an injury machine, dude. He gets injured like every single season. He's out for like 4 games. Though I like the Joe Alt pick, I think that's exactly what they needed to do. Only taking Brendan Rice and Ladd McConkey is not going to solve the wide receiver problem. So you're only getting to see. Next up, we got the Los Angeles Rams. In my opinion, this is an S tier draft. You're pairing up Braden Fisk and Jared Verse after losing Aaron Donald. That's like the best thing you could do ever. Then you got Blake Corum. Then you got Cameron Kinchins. This is an immediate S tier. No, nothing more to say. That is as good as the draft as the Chicago Bears. Now we got the Las Vegas Raiders. And, overall, I would give this like a D. I don't love the Brock Bowers pick. I mean, they literally took Michael Mayer last year. And I think the Jackson Powers Johnson pick is decent, but they have a huge quarterback need. You're gonna roll into next season with, Gardner Minshew, who is not a great starting quarterback. He's a decent backup. He's like a Jacoby Brissett guy. With an Aiden O'Connell, I just don't think that's right. I think they should have just drafted someone, at least draft someone like Spencer Rattler, maybe. I just don't think Brock Bowers was the pick. I felt like that was just, that's just. I think that was just a panic move, in my opinion. I think they saw that every single quarterback was off the board, and they were like, "Uh oh, we need to take a tight end," even though there wasn't a significant need. I think it was just, too reactionary, and that's why they're only getting a D. Next up, we got the Miami Dolphins, and overall, this is getting like this isn't even that good. I'm not just trying to sound like a hater here. They needed a defensive tackle, they needed a tight end, they needed an offensive guard, and they didn't address their massive need for an offensive guard. They got Patrick Paul, whatever, but taking Chop Robinson in the first round instead of maybe taking Jackson Powers Johnson, even though he fell to the second round, I feel like you could have made that reach there to get someone like him instead of taking Chop Robinson. And though I like the pick for who the player is, I don't think it's a good need. So you're gonna need. Next up, you got the Minnesota Vikings, and overall, draft gets a C in my opinion. A lot of people like the Dallas Turner. I do too, but I don't think JJ McCarthy's the answer for them. I could just see him being Kirk Cousins. All right, they need an elite quarterback. They need to go and trade up for Drake May or Jaden Daniels. JJ McCarthy, if he'll be exactly Kirk Cousins, he'll get you 10 wins, he'll get you the 3 seed, and you'll lose in the first round of the Giants. You're getting like a seed, not anything special. Next up, we got the New England Patriots. And in my opinion, this is an A tier draft. I know I sound like a hater saying the Miami Dolphins drafted poorly, but this team actually drafted really well, in my opinion. They got Javon Baker, they got Jalen Polk, they got Drake May. Overall, I'd give it like an A. Again, pretty good draft, for, a team that just needs a lot of picks. Moving on, obviously, from the best coach of all time. I think they did pretty well. Look at the New Orleans Saints. And overall, I thought they drafted pretty well. But I just it was tough for them. They didn't have a pick between the second and well, they had a second round pick. Then they didn't pick again until, literally the middle of the fifth round. So, I mean, for what it's worth, the players that they picked were good. But for overall draft capital, you're getting like a D. You're getting like two starters, probably. Other than that, like you're getting, people that'll compete to make the roster and, guys that'll get cut by, middle of, training camp, whatever. Like will be the first guys cut. Now we got the New York Giants, and honestly, I want to put them in F, but put them in D. Again, not anything crazy. They should have taken JJ McCarthy with the pick. I'm sorry, I know I said he's just Kirk Cousins, but you cannot take Malik Neighbors. You're gonna have who? Tyrod Taylor, Tommy DeVito. Actually, I didn't think Tyrod's on the team. You're either gonna have Tommy DeVito or Daniel Jones throwing to Malik Neighbors. Who's gonna want out 10 minutes in to playing with, either of those guys? I like the Tyler Newman pick. I like Andrew Phillips. I like the Theo Johnson. But to pick Malik Neighbors, and in my opinion, instead of taking maybe Michael Penix Jr. Again, I like Michael Penix Jr., but him being taken by the Falcons, that's a whole separate thing. But Giants, you guys didn't draft that well. Let's be honest. So yeah, you guys are going to D tier. Next up, we got the New York Jets. Overall, I would give this draft a B. This is the exact definition of a B tier draft. They got Olu Fashanu, they got Malachi Corley, they got Braylon Allen, they got Jordan Travis. She addressed every single position. So yeah, nothing more to say. I got the Philadelphia Eagles, and oh my god, everyone's going crazy. Oh, Howie Roseman's the go. This is a C tier draft. I like Quinyon Mitchell. John fractured his fibula. I'm not trying to sound like a hater here. I don't love their picks. I don't think they're that good, honestly. Whatever, people are gonna call Howie Roseman the GOAT. Like, I understand. The dude's like a magician with money. He get a few fleeces every team. He's the GOAT. Every single thing he does is amazing. Oh my gosh, he's awesome. He did all right this draft. I mean, he got Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. Cool. But yet again, why are you addressing, the two same positions? You guys could have gotten a Donnie Mitchell. You guys could have gotten such a better player than Cooper DeJean. There's a reason tons of those other teams didn't pick him. You guys trade up or whatever. Whatever you do, you just do this. And I just don't think it's smart, in my opinion. And again, I might come off as, oh, you're a hater. You wish the Bills could have taken him. I didn't want Cooper DeJean in the first place. I got the Pittsburgh Steelers. And again, same thing. Oh, Omar Khan's a genius. Oh, this dude's amazing. It's gonna be tier. It's nothing special. I mean, I like Troy Fautanu. I like Roman Wilson, but Peyton Wilson injury issues. I like Zach Frazier a little bit. But people need to stop acting like this was the most amazing draft of all time. It's solid. They did what they needed to do. It's not like they went over the top and did some amazing thing. Now we got the Seattle Seahawks. And, I thought they did decent. It's all right, I guess. It's not anything special, I would say. I would just go C. I like Byron Murphy, but Christian Haynes, on UConn could be, seen as a bit of what could you say? Like a risk because he's playing at UConn, where you don't play the best competition, rather than taking, someone else. So overall, it was all right, but nothing too special. I got the San Francisco 49ers. Honestly, just gonna get a bit of D. So you're telling me that you're gonna take Ricky Pearsall, guys projected to go like round two with pick 31, and you're gonna try to justify it. Like, this makes no sense. You have Jawan Jennings, in my opinion, the best wide receiver three in the league. You got Brandon Ayuk and Debo Samuel. And you're just gonna take Ricky Pearsall first round? I just think it's so stupid, and a lot of people are trying to justify it. I don't care. I don't care if it's the last dance. You guys are trying to win now. You guys are trying to win before you can give Brock Purdy, his new contract. You're gonna take Ricky Pearsall with your first pick of the draft? That's stupid, in my opinion. That's dumb. You guys, you get a D. Honestly, I'm not being nice to anyone today. Now we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and again, for what it's worth, for what positions they needed to fill, it gets a B. Not anything crazy. They got Graham Barton, they got Chris Braswell, they got Tyke Smith. They just did what they needed to do. Nothing special, in my opinion. Now we got the Tennessee Titans, and overall, this draft, like, I think it honestly gets a D as well. You take Devondre Sweat. Bit of a reach, in my opinion. I like Devondre Sweat. I did not expect him to go, that early. J.C. Latham, again, like a bit of a reach. It's decent, but this isn't, again, anything too special. I would honestly bump it up to C, because again, they just did what they needed to do, but at the same time, they reached a little bit. Now we got the Washington Commanders, and again, I think that this draft, honestly, for them was the perfect draft. For them, overall, as a draft itself, it's getting an A tier. Oh, excellent test. It's getting an A tier. As for their needs, they did it really well. But as just as like a whatever NFL as a whole compared to other, it's an A tier. It's not anything crazy, but it's not anything bad. And I think they did better than the Bills. All these teams, so they're getting an A tier. So yeah, congrats to the A and S tier teams. A lot of you guys will probably disagree with me with a few of these, but I feel like all these teams run right here drafted pretty poorly in my opinion. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys agree with these rankings. You guys probably won't, but hopefully you do. And yeah, again, hopefully you guys enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to hit like, subscribe button, and yeah, I'll see you tomorrow for another Hair Productions video.